What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the We Are Tottenham TV podcast. I am Simeon. Here's my brother Ben, also part of We Are Tottenham TV, and our guest this week, Richard Cracknell, better known as Crackers. People know him as. Do you want to introduce yourself a bit? If people want,
my name's Richard Cracknell, or Crackers as I'm known. Wrong side of 40. Married, 4 children. Lifelong Spurs fan, been going suffering. Spurs for sure. 76 my first game, so I don't know what's that, 40 years now, isn't it? 43 years, yeah. So first season following them, the relegation season. So all this is an absolute breeze.
I heard that year in the lower division was probably the best time to support Spurs. You know,
yes.
Apparently Glenn Hoddle was completely tearing that league apart.
I'm maybe a touch too young to appreciate it because I was 6 or 7 years old, but. You know, I speak to me elders and betters, and they say that was a great season because going around the country and sort of lauding it. We was lucky to come up, really. We was very lucky in the end and draw at the end of the season. And but a lot of fans said they did really enjoy it. So
and compared to nowadays, we know finishing high up in the league quite regularly, but at the moment, no one seems very happy. But
can you imagine social media if we got relegated?
Imagine social media existed when you were back then. Oh my word! Huddle's a waste of space. It's useless.
Sell him.
Exactly, like they talk about Eriksen now.
Yeah.
But obviously, yesterday we lost 2-0 at Stamford Bridge. First time apparently since AVB's last game we had no shots on target in the 90 minutes. Really frustrating day, I would say. Big blow as well. Obviously, title chances went against Burnley, I would say, and now we're really in it for the top 4. I mean, you weren't there yesterday, were you?
No.
But what you watched on TV, how were all your thoughts on it?
It was just, I never mind losing because no team ever goes unbeaten. And I mean, not even that lot when they had their undefeated season and all this invincible rubbish. Yeah. There was a couple of games they should have lost. Portsmouth away, they basically Pires cheated a penalty and they got the win. So they would have lost that game. So nobody goes undefeated. It's as simple as that. Yeah. So losing, fine, but it's the manner. It's the manner of defeats. That's what really hurts. And there was nothing there yesterday. It was like Pochettino's challenged them before Saturday, before the Burnley game, to say, you know, this is it, come on. And it just seems every time we get to that point of, come on, let's go, we collapse. And I don't know.
How many times can this happen? You know, you think back to the final and Pochettino's first season, all the semi-finals since then. Even the Wolves game a couple of weeks ago, you know, everyone was talking about Tottenham in a title challenge. And then all the fans start talking about it. Then we play Wolves and we just shit the bed completely every time. What is it?
Yeah.
Pochettino identified it, didn't he, after the Burnley game? Said there's a problem with our mentality, and that's the fact. You can't deny it. I mean, we clearly have an issue with how we go into these games, and when we're either looking to go to first place or looking to really put pressure on the top spot, or even a semi-final, say make it into a final. We just seem to lack that mentality to really see those games out. Yeah. And it's not like in those games that Wolves were 1-0 up. Burnley, we get it back to 1-1. We should be going on to win the game. The semi-finals, we're 1-0 up in those games. It's not like we don't play well in parts in those games. It's just a lot of the time we don't end up getting over the line. We always end up getting unlucky, or they score their first shot on target. It keeps happening, and I don't know how we go about changing the mentality of this team. Pochettino claims it might take up to 10 years to change the mentality of this team. I mean, which is worrying in itself, but. Do you think there's a quick fix to this?
Pochettino's
can all the money in the world change a mentality?
We can certainly
help Man City.
Borrow it, exactly. Yeah. No, I don't think it can, and I wonder what Pochettino was actually saying with that 5 to 10 years change. I think that might have been speaking to the board and the lack of backing there, and it's almost become the club and the players and even the fans to a degree are almost beginning to believe this Spursy thing. You know, it was created by fans of other clubs and Adrian Durham on TalkSport, who I get on very well with. But
your mates, aren't they?
Yeah, between 4 and 7, I just I buy what he does. You know, he plays devil's advocate and he gets under people's skins, and a lot of people buy it. I don't. I just laugh it off, to be honest. But people's almost beginning to believe that. And then he finishes, and then Cundy and Goldstein come in at 10 o'clock and they start again. That's Goldstein from the Manchester
sports bar,
from the Manchester suburb called Loughton in Essex. You know, he's just but don't buy it. Just don't buy into that. But I think a lot of people are beginning to say we've got no mentality. But if you think like that, it will be like that.
I think it affects the players when on social media there's a whole not campaign, but it's in their consciousness, isn't it?
I think it is. Yeah, I think they're not silly. They're not wrapped completely in cotton wool, and they see what goes on. They see what gets tweeted, and they see what gets said. And I think sometimes it starts to get into their heads a bit as well, to be honest. So we have to buy out of that, and it's almost like this Saturday. When we've got Arsenal, we should be looking at that mentality of, right, this is the perfect game. This is exactly the game we need and needed to get the last 2 results out of the system. Because if we go and beat them, brilliant. It's all, everybody's happy again. See, last night Chelsea got beat at the weekend in a cup final. Last night at the final whistle, a cock-a-hoop, isn't they? Absolutely, they're loving it. So you can soon turn these things round. So I couldn't think of a more perfect game than playing them on Saturday for the players and everybody to go, right, all right then, that was that. Here we go, crack on and beat them, and then put your marker back down for the season, and then you kick on from there. So. But no, I don't know. Just too many people are beginning to believe this.
Well, yeah, because having said that, at the beginning of the season, there was actually quite a lot of negativity surrounding the club right at the beginning. And
I think throughout the whole season, to be fair.
I think it died down a bit midway. Once we started playing well and actually started really pushing the top 2. I think the negativity died down a bit. But at the beginning of the season, there was a lot of negativity surrounding the club about where we're actually heading. Are we going to struggle to get top 4 this season? And if that would have affected the players, they clearly put that out of their minds to kind of put the results and the performances they put in throughout the season. So you got to say that they've kind of adjusted to that throughout the season. But when it really gets these crunch games, even in the Leicester season, we had a couple of opportunities to go top, and we just both those games we failed to win.
Well, that Arsenal game, really springs to mind, doesn't it?
Yeah, and the West Ham game,
top of the league for 13 minutes or whatever it was.
Yeah,
and so there clearly is something an issue there. But going specifically with the game, actually on the night, I know we didn't have a shot on target, but we did create a few chances in terms of Harry Kane had that missed kick which he could have put away. Llorente had a decent chance. Eriksen, Winks hit the bar. Eriksen had a decent opportunity when Pedro somehow made a sliding challenge in from behind. So, in terms of the game itself, do you think you look at that game and think, Chelsea are a much better team than Spurs based on that one game? I don't think you do.
No, it's, and you look at it, and the 2 goals they had.
Yeah,
lucky goals, both of them.
Well, Pedro done what he done to Alderweireld, and you have to remember,
who I thought was brilliant actually throughout the game.
Yeah. And that was brilliant from Pedro, the way he turned Alderweireld, but he still got to beat Lloris, and he did, and he shouldn't have done. No, and I don't like to look at Spurs in microcosm, in game by game. You can't really judge by that. So you have to sort of look at them over a season, a couple of seasons, blah blah blah. And where we are, I still think we're overachieving. To be honest, with the amount of investment that's been made into the team, who we've got there, where we are as a club without this new stadium and the money that's been coming in. Because for me, that should be Man City, Man U, Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal. There's your 5 that are pulling in a lot more money. And let's face it, money talks now, doesn't it? Whoever's got the most money.
If you're looking at squads alone, though, that's not the case.
No, but he's bought well. We've got some good players in. Bought them in cheap. Turned them into great. We're really on a par as a club, sort of as a structure and a finance with Everton.
Yeah.
West Ham. In fact, West Ham should be above us now. They're living rent free in a council house, and having all that money coming in. And
biggest council house in Europe, I heard.
Newcastle is another one. Mm-hmm. So really, as a club structure, we're amongst them, but we're miles above them, and we're in amongst the other 5 that I've just mentioned. So when you look at it that way, you kind of think, well, we ain't doing too bad, really. Having said that, the last few league games we've been poor, and we've scraped a few wins. We were poor in the first half of Dortmund, sensational in the second half. Real Jekyll and Hyde within a game. And I don't know why we can't do what we've done in the second half of Dortmund every week. It just seems like
you can only do
take the players, do that. 90 minutes every week. That's all you need to do.
I mean, that kind of stuff's been happening a lot over the past month or two. We've been pitting in really bad first half performances, and second half performances, it's been all right, getting past the line just about. So I don't think performances this season, apart from maybe 5 or 6, 7 games, have been actually really good.
No.
In fact, I think our best performances have probably been in the Champions League this season. They have. I think most even in the group games which we didn't win, we were the better team in pretty much all the games.
Yeah, we was.
So maybe that's where we got to put our main focus on.
So win the Champions League this
year.
We're
going to win the Champions League.
But Chelsea last night, apart from that, and obviously at the end, which we'll probably talk about in a little bit more detail with Trippier and Lloris show, and they didn't really didn't tear up any trees. I wasn't like, we're really under it here.
I thought at times we were playing actually some really good football.
I think we dominated the majority of the game. It's just that nice tippy-tappy football, passing it around with not threatening whatsoever, you know what I mean? A few openings, but we didn't do anything with these openings.
But in a game like that, when it's 2 good teams playing each other, that's all it needs, and that's exactly what old Chelsea needed, and they've had to find the net. We unfortunately, Kane with a missed kick, that was inside the 6-yard box. He could have been putting that away. Eriksen, if Pedro doesn't come from nowhere, that could have been another really good opportunity.
In games like this, you're going to be relying on moments of magic, and that's where Eriksen, Lamela, Son, and Kane should be producing.
Yeah, I think with them 4 on the pitch not having a shot on target, you can't really. No, that's not good enough, is it?
No, Eriksen he looks tired. He looks tired, and then that sort of comes down to, have we really got the squad? Because you can't rest him.
Yeah.
So we haven't got the squad. So all of a sudden you start looking back at the board, really, and not buying anybody for 2 windows, and not having that depth to be able to take him out of certain games, give him a rest, and whether he's tired, whether his head's turned by Spain. I mean, he looks like a man that's probably on Spanish properties on Rightmove more than I am at the moment. That takes some doing. And,
that's what I was saying yesterday.
Yeah. He just looks. Sonny looks tired as well. He had the Asia Cup and everything. And I don't know. They just when you've got Eriksen, Son, and Kane, there just doesn't seem to be that blend amongst the 3 sometimes. Son and Kane, it's just like.
Do you think that this formation, we've moved kind of this formation where we play 3 in the centre with 1 behind, 2 up front, and it worked in a few games, especially against Chelsea at Wembley. It worked wonderfully, but maybe we've been playing it too much. Maybe we need to switch it back to 4-2-3 because we've not got anyone wide at the moment. We're getting our width from the fullbacks. And the truth of the matter is, we saw yesterday, Pedro found space behind Davis, that's how he got in. And it's been our weak point for the majority of the season, that space behind the fullbacks. And when we don't have, wingers tracking back, helping them out, they get even more exposed than they usually are. Yeah. And so do you reckon that's something Pochettino should look at?
That's something he might need to look at as well. It's I think there's a few things he needs to look at, and I think number 1 on my list is the goalkeeper. Lloris. Really is, Since he done that interview and said where he won the World Cup and almost felt an emptiness of like, where do I go from here? Then he had all his troubles off the field with the drink driving, and it's just something's not quite right with him at the moment. And Gazaniga, every time he's come in, for me, has been great. He's made 1 mistake in goal, I think, against Chelsea. But he's been great, and I'm wondering whether there might be some value in Pochettino saying to Lloris, "Sorry, that's not good enough. You're out." And he's the captain as well. If you drop him, if he goes back into the dressing room and goes a bit John sitting on him and says to him, right, and don't think any of you lot, I won't drop any of you either. He's out, and I think it could be a bit of a kick up the derriere that a few people need if he gets dropped.
Because you can say he was at fault for both goals yesterday.
Yeah.
But we were talking about Hugo last week, and you were saying yourself like how brilliant he's been, and he hasn't made that many mistakes this season.
Well, he had
the beginning of the season.
He had a bad start, and then once he got over that bad start, I think
because he wins us games at times as well.
Yeah, from around November time, he actually started to put some really strong performances in. And I think what game was it? The other week we won 1-0, and he was man of the match. He was absolutely phenomenal. I can't game slips my mind at the moment. But,
it's not like you said.
Yeah, I know. I can't remember exactly what game it was right now. But he has put in some really good performances this season. But last night was a return to how he was performing at the beginning of the season for sure. Yeah. And again, considering his apparent strong point is rushing out, being that super keeper. Again, another mistake of him coming out probably too eager to come out of putting Trippier under more pressure than he needed to be under. Though, having said that, who do you blame more for that goal? The own goal. Let's talk about it. The elephant in the room, bloody Trippier.
Who do you own more? You got Trippier for me.
Lloris.
You blame
Lloris?
Lloris, absolutely. Why? Lloris. I played keeper as a kid, and my youngest boy plays keeper, and he's pretty good, and he goes keeper coaching and everything. When you saw the replay, Lloris comes out. He comes out too far, unnecessarily too far, and he says not one word to Trippier. Now, when you're a keeper and you've got a defender facing you with the ball, it's down to you as a keeper to tell him what's what, where to go, what to do.
Yeah, but regardless of that, Trippier is not under any pressure whatsoever. No. All he has to do is look up, see where he is, and if he's going to pass it back like that, at least side of a goal, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
not right in the goal. Yeah.
Listen, Trippier's not blameless, but I'm certainly going 80-20 to
really?
Lloris. Yeah, Lloris really needs to be telling him away.
I think you just got a bone to pick with Hugo.
I don't want to, because on his day he's a great keeper. He really is. But if he ain't at it, then you've got to drop him. You've got to drop him. I think.
But Trippier was.
Sarri done it last night, didn't he?
Who?
Sarri done it last night with his keeper. He's
true.
Played up. He's not done what he's supposed to have been doing on Sunday. Made him that was
bit of a different case, though. You know what I mean? Bit of a different case.
A bit different, but he's gone right. Sorry, that's it. You've done. I'm not having that. And Willie Caballero comes in. Simple as that. And I think it could be a little bit of a marker laid down. If you're not doing the business, see you later. No matter who you are. Ferguson done it. He done it to everyone. He was the same. And I just think sometimes maybe Pochettino needs to be a little bit harder with some people.
Yeah, I do feel like sometimes Hugo, in terms of like other players, for example, like our fullbacks, Trippier or David, if they're off form, they're straight out. They, the other players come in. I guess part of me thinks Hugo kind of gets a bit more leeway under Poch than maybe other players do.
Well, he is club captain as well.
Exactly. He's club captain.
That's the problem when you have a keeper as club captain. As well, that makes it very, very difficult. But
for me, Jan Vertonghen should be club captain. Don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I think that's a fairer shout. Yeah, over Kane as well.
Yeah,
but Jan Vertonghen should do it.
But there's a reason he gave it to Hugo, because he most of the time he's been leading by example, hasn't he? But what I said at the beginning of the season, which I think I probably stand by, is when he had that drink driving incident, he probably should have been stripped of it then.
Yeah,
that's when he probably should have been stripped of it.
Yeah,
because I think that shows something about that's a character issue.
Yeah,
and if that's what
it was very out of character though, wasn't it?
I know, but if that's I know it was out of character, but it still happened. You know what I mean? And and as I said, at the beginning of the season, it wasn't as if like he was a couple of units over or something. He was really drunk.
Sick all over the car.
Yeah, exactly. That was so. There had to be. I know he was dropped for a game or something, wasn't he?
Yeah.
That was the time to drop him as captain. They stuck by him now. Then they'll have to stick by him now. That's the thing.
Let's see.
But for me, I think the most urgent positions, as we saw in the summer, fullbacks and centre midfield. How can you let a player like Dembele go without replacing him straight out?
Well,
I think Sissoko and Winks have done such a great job, but they're out on their legs. They're playing every single game.
I agree with you, but because Sissoko has come into form so well, that's the reason we didn't invest. I think it kind of gave the board an excuse not to go dip into the transfer market in January.
Yeah.
If he hadn't been on good form going into November, December, the board would have had no option but to buy him. The fans would have been an uproar if we didn't buy in January. We were still annoyed, but because Sissoko was doing so well, it kind of gave him a bit of an excuse not to. Yeah, a bit of an out.
Yeah,
we were lucky.
It's just, I mean, a lot of this points back to the board for me. You can't
100%.
go to. You shouldn't even go one window. We've gone 2 windows without investing, and that's just.
Are we going to make it a hat trick?
The most unwanted hat trick. Is it a perfect hat trick?
Left window, right window, and a headed window. It's just unheard of. Every manager goes into the market. Wenger did every window. Ferguson did every window. Mourinho did every window.
You've got to keep improving.
You have to.
Because if you're not improving, you're going backwards.
And I don't buy this Pochettino philosophy of I want to bring young players through, and well, of course you do. It's lovely to, but you bring them in gradually alongside experienced players, a couple at a time. You know, you sort of dip them in cup games, and Carl Walker-Peters comes in, and you know, Winks really shouldn't be a first team player regular. To be honest, he should still be being dipped in for me alongside somebody experienced. I think he's done brilliant for the amount he's actually played and how he plays in games. You know, I think he's got to that point now where he should be. But this season, last season, not so much. He should have been dipped in a lot more. And I think Pochettino really protects the board when he says, "I want to bring young players through." I just don't think the money's there. I don't think it's there. I think everything with the stadium has just overtaken it, and the cupboard's bare. And I think he's just protecting the chairman, to be honest. So.
Well, talking about Trippier's own goal, going back to that. Is that the best own goal you've ever seen?
It's the worst own goal I've ever seen.
You've ever seen in the Spurs game? Can you remember any? Do you have any greatest hits of own goals?
I mean, I think I've seen a Gary Doherty one that was worse than that. I can't remember.
That was against Leicester.
The Docks. But
Ginger
no, that last night. But only Spurs could score an own goal that calamitous. You know, it was just like it was up there with. It was up there with like the Enkelman own goal, wasn't it? From the Birmingham Villa game. It was just.
He could have put it anywhere else, but that specific spot.
If a corner ball comes in and it sort of hits somebody and it trickles in, you're like, it hurts. But that was just.
So avoidable.
Because it was so laugh out loud as well, like, you know, for everybody else. It was just it was farcical.
Absolutely embarrassing.
Remember Gareth Bale scoring one and Lennon smack the ball in his face on the
line.
That was a good one.
There's been some good ones, but no, I think that one that tops the lot.
No, but that one just brought back a bit of memories from the 90s. You know, the
Really
calamity
did.
Spurs every week.
It was. I don't know. Who'd be a Spurs fan?
Since we're talking about Trippier, might as well bring in this question from La Spina Luz. He asked a question on Instagram. Do you think Kieran Trippier should be sold in the summer, and how much do you think we could get for him?
I mean, last summer we could have got about 100 million for him.
Yeah. Apparently to Real Madrid, apparently.
I think if you want to win the league like we claim we want to, then you have to get rid of him. If not, if you sell him, then what do you do if there's no money? That's what it all comes down to. Is if we have the money to buy somebody else, if he can identify somebody that maybe he could develop, but you know, as he says he likes to, or you know, has to.
I think that Ricardo Pereira's a shout from Leicester.
Yeah,
I really like him.
Yeah, but again, it's going to cost.
Wan-Bissaka as well.
Yeah, it's going to cost a lot of money.
In this day and age, fullbacks cost 50 million plus.
Yeah,
in this day
exactly.
And age.
But I mean, Trippier would be a perfect suit for one of those teams, though, a Palace or a Leicester.
Swap deal.
Yeah.
Is it a case with Trippier where he's actually quite a decent understudy? Like when he was understudy to Walker, and he would come in the odd game and do a really good job for us. But being a starting fullback, he's just not cut out for it, is he?
No, not
every game in the really big games, he just can't handle it.
Yeah. But
He'll
have a great game, then he'll have 2 or 3 wobbly games, and then he'll have another good game, and he puts in a great cross, and then he just drops off again. You just can't be that inconsistent. He's consistently inconsistent. He really is. But
he's kind of lost that offensive edge to his game that he used to have.
He's not even putting good crosses in the box anymore.
He's not. No. You know, it wasn't just good crosses. He used to, be on the ball, finding really nice passes over the top, putting us nice attacks, setting up good moves. And he seems to have lost it a bit. I don't know if it's a confidence thing or it's just maybe he's been worked out.
Is he burnt out?
Yeah, maybe.
He had the whole summer of the World Cup. Now he's had this, and
but all our players did really.
Yeah. But Pochettino demands so much from their players. And I remember when we first got Pochettino, a friend of mine said he's one of Bielsa's students. Yeah. He absolutely idolises Bielsa. And he actually, my friend said to me, he supports another team, he said, the only problem with Bielsa's team is they get to about 10 games before the end of the season, they fall off the edge of a cliff.
But that's what happened to us first 2 seasons under Poch, but then we kind of improved, didn't we?
We did, but it looks like we're burning out again because there's been that tournament pre-season. So that's something to consider as well, that maybe there is a tiredness and just a fatigue amongst players like Trippier. That means this is what he is, where he is,
Which is where managing the squad comes into play, which we're unfortunately not in the luxury where to be fair, we still have players like Lucas and Lamela sitting on the bench most of the time, which
has not impressed me really.
Who recently haven't been great,
months.
But at the beginning of the season they actually stepped up quite a bit and did a good job for us. So maybe they have a part to play, but when you look at Man City, they got Bernardo Silva and Mahrez and these kind of players sitting on their bench. We just can't compete with that, can we?
And a country's oil,
and that as well.
But that's,
when you're comparing squads, I don't think you could do it to Man City because they've got the strongest squad in Europe by a mile. I think. So you can compare it to a squad like Man United's or even Arsenal or Chelsea, but you can't compare it to Man City because they're just.
They're streets ahead, didn't they?
So in that sense, can we be too disheartened about where we are at the moment, even after 2 defeats?
It's a yes and no, because overall, no, I think we're still overachieving, but knowing what we are capable of, yes, because the manner of those performances of Burnley and Chelsea and even a couple of games before that are not as good as we have been and can be.
And let me ask this question. Now we have Liverpool, obviously we've got Arsenal on Saturday, massive game, which we cannot afford to drop any points, I don't think. Because considering the fact we've got Liverpool away coming up, Man City away coming up, are we really, really now in a proper dogfight for top 4, considering after those 2 defeats? Because if we would have even gotten a draw at Chelsea, kept them off our back a bit, but having lost that game, they're now 4 points of the game in hand, or 4 points of the game in hand behind us.
Yeah.
That's really on our coattails.
Who's got a game in hand?
Chelsea.
Yeah.
So, are we really in a dogfight? Can you see us dropping out potentially, or you think we should be?
I wouldn't put it past us. I'll tell you that.
No. It's out of all of those teams, it looks like Chelsea have had that galvanising final, but they didn't win, but they seem to have come together. And last night they seem to have sort of...
You say that, but I don't think they were anything special last night. I wasn't impressed with Chelsea at all last night. They were there for the taking.
But their application looked better. They've looked like they wasn't trying to leg in other games. Last night they looked like they did. Now, whether that's because they were playing us, and in that season when we drew 2-2 and Leicester won the title... They've been absolutely bobbins, hadn't they, all season? But they come to play
for them,
us.
we're the biggest game of the season. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So it's like, don't you dare, all right, lads. I know we're trying to get rid of the manager, but tonight we owe it to the fans to turn up to play. So it might have been just playing us last night that caused that. I don't know. It's you have to see, but we're definitely in that dogfight, 100%. And as you say, we could if we don't get hold of it.
We lose on the weekend. We're a point above Arsenal. If I would have said to you Arsenal are going to finish above us a week ago, you would have laughed at me.
Yeah.
So United had no signs of slowing down either.
No, they're coming on. Yeah, so we have got to go again. We've got to find it from somewhere. But now we find out what Pochettino's made of, because this is where managers earn their money. It's all very good when everything's going well, a sign of a great manager is how you go in and remotivate your players, get hold of them, set up and go again and refine your rhythm and refine your spirit.
But you throw the Champions League in the mix as well. You know, we have a likely quarter-final, hopefully. Knowing Spurs, I don't want to...
But again, on the last 2 or 3 games... You think to yourself, you know what? If Dortmund get a go in that first 10 minutes, you're thinking to yourself, oh, that could be like squeaky bum time, as somebody once said. That could be difficult.
How many times have you seen it in the Champions League when teams overturn these deficits? You know, last year Real Madrid, Juventus, they were 3-0 up. They turned it around. Barcelona, Roma, Barcelona, PSG. You know what I mean? It happens a lot.
It does. Yeah, it does happen. So we're going to have to be. We're going to have to be on it. That's why Saturday's perfect.
Which is another saying, you know, given all the not complications, given all the issues we have with the squad, that we don't have a massive squad, and that we have to be on it in the Premier League to get top 4. Could you see Pochettino, if a quarter-final or a not semi-final, but if a quarter-final comes before a massive, before Liverpool away or City away in the league, which game would he prioritise?
That was always a thing we used to say to Arsenal fans. Say, well, we're going to rest players for the upcoming game in the Champions League because they need to win a league game the following Saturday to get in the Champions League to drop out of it the next season to the game. It's hard. You just have to play your next game, I think. Just play your next game. And at the end of the day, the Champions League is a cup competition. You can dress it up with all the big silver stars and anthems and everything, but it's no different to the Zenit Data Cup. It isn't. In principle, it's a cup competition. And you know what? Mad things can happen in cup games. They really can. So if we get through that, we draw a big team. You never know. It's just like one goes in off of somebody's arse on the 90th minute, and you're through. That's it. You've done it. You luck out.
It's a bit tougher over 2 legs than it is over 1 leg.
It is quite tough. But it does happen. You get a couple of lucky little breaks in these games, and who knows? You never know.
The lucky break usually comes against Tottenham. So.
Yes, I am talking about Spurs and luck here. So maybe I should just shut up.
What would you do if in that situation? If we
which game's first?
The league game.
The league game's first. Well, Liverpool away. It also depends on like the situation in the league, like how many points you're ahead and this and that. But I think professional players, they should be fit enough to play 2 games in a week anyway. Like the amount of times Pochettino drills in this fitness thing with the fittest team in the league, all that kind of rubbish. Why can't they play 2 games in a week? There's no reason why they can't.
No.
Yeah, but we keep talking about how stretched our squad is.
Yeah.
And how we have limited options.
Yeah, but you're talking about being out the FA Cup. You're talking about being out the league. Well, that's done now. We got a 3-week gap in the middle of March where we're not going to play a game of football. So that's enough rest to see us through for the rest of the season, surely.
Should be. Should well be.
You would think so.
Yeah, definitely. It's don't know. It's hard. It's like we're making the Champions League now, but we're not investing like a Champions League team, are we? We're not buying that quality of player to keep you in there, to nail down in that top 4. That's the problem. It's like all roads just seem to lead back to that boardroom. So it's. I mean, for me, I think. ENIC have reached the end of the road.
That's what I was saying.
You think so? You think they've kind of hit?
Yeah, I think they have. I think they've done absolutely brilliantly in putting together that training ground and the stadium. I think it was unrealistic to try and build it in a season. 2 seasons. It's a huge project. And
to make us a Champions League side as well.
Yeah, and they brought in Pochettino, but even blind squirrels find a nut every now and then. I think that was more through luck than judgment that they brought him in. Eventually, I had to bring somebody in that was decent enough. But I think now they've sort of reached their natural conclusion. I don't think they've got the mindset and the know-how to take this club on to
or the balls either, just to stick your neck out on the line and take a risk.
That next level. And I think that training ground and stadium, as much as we'll benefit from it as fans, that was never built with us in mind. That was them building their portfolio and the club's portfolio.
Have ENIC ever done anything with the fans in mind?
No.
Never.
No, I don't think they have. Everything comes back to, if we buy that, will it add value to the value of the club as a ongoing sales thing? So I don't know. It's sometimes you have to be a bit careful what you wish for with new owners and that, but we just seem ripe now for one of these great big companies to come in, somebody like Nike and Netflix, or Nike and Amazon, or Adidas and
come and take over Spurs.
to come and take us over.
I just want some Arab country to buy Spurs, and just we can be on a level playing field with everyone else. Just finish now.
Yeah,
I'm done with doing stuff in the right way. I'm done with it.
Yeah. But like you can almost see Daniel Levy standing on the street corner and like pulling the corner of his bra strap down, getting it ready to do the deal really. And so we just want somebody quite huge to come in, and who don't want the embarrassment of not being in that real top echelons of clubs. Like, if somebody like Nike and Netflix comes in for you, they're not going to want you like knocking about in the Europa League. They're going to bring you stellar players in, and Nike are going to be playing wages. So that's what I'm hoping for.
It's not even like we're that far off, you know what I mean? They've done a brilliant job to get us to this stage. We've got brilliant players, a brilliant manager, brilliant facilities. We just need that final push to take us to that next level. Yeah,
we just need one of these countries or companies to come in where £500 million, like 500 quid to me is a lot of money, but like almost as if £500 million to them is like 500 quid to you and I, or 50 quid to you and I, to come in and just push it on. But I don't think they've got the expertise to run that club with this NFL thing and the club and the size, and I don't think it's there. And I think somebody needs to come in and just go, maybe one of these people that's run an NFL club, because they run on a huge scale.
You don't want to go down Arsenal's level, you know what I mean?
Well, but they know how to run these, like,
you know what I mean?
But that's the other side of it. If you get the wrong one,
look, I mean, Arsenal are shitting out money, and that guy Stan Kroenke's pouring all the money into the NFL team or whatever it is, and they made the Super Bowl. Off the back of Arsenal's money. So you don't want that to come in. You know what I mean?
You do have to be a little bit.
You got to be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, exactly. But you just hope and pray that the right people come in. So we'll see.
Given if we spend if we get a big chunk of investment. It's been said so many times, where do you improve the squad? But I guess the cracks are really starting to show recently. Fullback, centre midfield. Yeah. But, do you think there's a big risk of us losing a player like Eriksen this summer? Do you think he...
Of course there is.
Yeah, I think Eriksen's gone.
How much would you take for him if he was to go?
1 year left in his contract as well, you've got to remember.
That's the thing. There's only a year left, and... I don't know, it looks like the lure of Spain. Most players can't resist it, can they? How old's Eriksen now?
He's like 27 or something.
So this is his time, isn't it? And if he gets a 5-year deal taking him to his early 30s, you're not going
to blame Eriksen for leaving though this summer, are you?
He's not a Spurs fan, is he? He's just doing a job of work. So he's not got Spurs in his heart, maybe like somebody Kane has. So if somebody like Madrid comes knocking, you're going to think to yourself, well, when I get to sort of 50 years old and I'm not doing Legends Night, so I can tell, because I don't need the money, I can tell my grandkids, here's my shirt from Real Madrid. So I think once teams come knocking like that, unless you've got a special affinity with the club you're at, you're gone. You will go. And so I think he'll go. Whether we'll see any of that money to be invested in players is...
if a player of that ilk goes, you can't not replace him.
Get Sigurdsson back?
Sigurdsson? The club obviously identified that position as a position that they wanted to improve on, because that whole thing with Jack Grealish, like, just get the signing over the line, you know what I mean? Why
could you see someone like, because Isco's not playing much at Madrid?
No, Isco.
Could he be a part? Would that be the worst thing in the world?
Well, we've got a special relationship with Real Madrid.
A special relationship where they take all of our players.
Very special.
They must rue the day they put that press release out, didn't they?
Relationship.
Real Madrid has said we're going to have a special relationship with them. Yeah. Oh, only at Spurs.
Yeah, no, exactly. We sold Modric for less money to Madrid than we would have got from Chelsea. We sold Bale for less money to Madrid than we would have got for United as well. Very special relationship. There we have it.
And they've never given us one player, have they?
No, I can't remember anyone.
We've been linked with a number.
I mean, Van der Vaart, he didn't come from Real Madrid.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
He did come from
Van der Vaart.
That was it, wasn't it? Yeah, on the last day of the window. Yeah, he came, didn't he? So, but that was only because he was scrapping with everybody at the club, wasn't he? Fighting left, right, and centre on the training ground.
And we wanted to get out.
Yeah, ended up as a square peg in a round hole, and I'd take another Van der Vaart in the side at the moment.
Oh man. What I'll do for Rafa back in form, you know. These are the games as well. The Arsenal game coming up is the games that he thrived in.
He loved them, didn't he? Absolutely loved them. But
let's talk about the Arsenal game. How do you see it going on Saturday? I mean, they're in decent form at the moment. Their away form is not great overall.
No, it's not. They're okay. They smashed Bournemouth last night, but speaking to a few people. Yeah. Bournemouth tried to go toe to toe with them, and
you know we beat them 5-0 when they came to Wembley.
Exactly,
as well.
Yeah. So
Bournemouth have lost like the last 5 or 6 away games anyway, and Arsenal have won the last 5 or 6 home games.
Yeah, so don't put anything out like that. It all depends how much of a reaction the players are going to have from these last 2 games.
There's got to be a reaction. There's got to be.
It all depends what's happened in the team meeting today. I'd be all for. They're like the door opening and all 22 of them rolling on the floor fighting each other, because I think you just clear the air and go again. I don't know whether you end up having a fight, going for a few pints, a bit of paintballing or whatever. Just do something to galvanise yourselves and go. It'll be unforgivable if we don't actually go full tilt on Saturday.
Talking about having a fight, was Kane lucky to get away with the?
Very.
You think he was lucky to get away with an FA charge?
Very, very lucky.
Yeah, they looked at it and they said no.
Yeah, and I think that comes with a little bit of the England captaincy.
Yeah, maybe he did the old Alan Shearer job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. The Shearer and Lennon job. Yeah, it was. I think the England captain gets a certain amount of protection. I think he gets a little D in the middle of his number plate, them like diplomatic immunity plates that you see, and. I do. I think anybody else could have been banging trouble for that, because it's no good sugarcoating it. We'd have been screaming if somebody had put the nut in on Kane for them to go. So you can't scream for somebody else. It's a bit like when Salah dives and everybody screams, he's dived. And I think Kane, I think it was Kane again in a game earlier this season, quite obviously dived. I might be wrong on who that was, but I'm sure it was either Kane or Delhi. And I said on social media, I said, if I'm going to give Salah pelters for diving, then Kane's wrong to do what he done today. So, you know, he's a lucky boy. He's a lucky boy. You can't... He nutted him. He basically... He motioned to. There's no, like... You can't say... He put his head in to speak to him or something. He went to nut him. It was simple as that. And you just like, you can't do it.
So you think if it was someone like Dele Alli that did the same thing, he would be getting a ban?
Yeah, I think so. I think if he'd have got caught, he'd probably been like, there'd have been something of it. Conveniently, the ref saw it and it was in the report, and you wonder how much these reports get written up afterwards.
There is a picture of the ref looking straight at it, isn't there? So and if they see it, they can't. Re-referee the decision.
No, exactly. Yeah, I think he's been very lucky, and I don't like to see it. But on the other hand, football's a passionate game, and I don't think the authorities allow for that.
Not
Sometimes,
anymore.
You get a 90+2 winner in a big game, and your shirt comes off, and you go into the crowd, and all of a sudden the ref's coming up and yellow card you or something, or second yellow card you. It's just ridiculous.
Apparently, what I read recently, that rule, I thought always that rule was because they didn't because one time a player struggled to like put their shirt back on after scoring, and then the holding kickoff had to be delayed or something, and then so they made a rule that you can't take your shirt off. Apparently, this rule's been like pushed by the sponsors on the kits. So
oh really?
Yeah. So that
all about bloody money.
So that when someone scores, they have like the money shot of the sponsor, and obviously if someone takes off their shirt, they're not getting that money shot. Yeah. So that's why that rule's in place.
It wouldn't surprise.
That would not surprise me at all.
No, I think there was also a little spate of shirts coming off, and people having stuff printed on T-shirts.
Oh yeah,
Which was like started off as "Hi Mum," then it was like, but then somebody took a shirt off and it was like "Free the rebels of like the Chechen border," something really like, you know, hot potato politicals, like, you know, and it was like, no, we're gonna have to stamp down on this. So. But it's probably more plausible that it was sponsorship money, to be honest.
Right? And also, Pochettino, talking about FA charges, Pochettino has he pleaded for the charge yet? Has he accepted the charge?
He put his hands up and apologised.
He accepted the charge. Is he going to get a touchline ban? Is that why it's going?
They're talking of one game, aren't they? I don't know. I think he has a hearing, doesn't he? And you can normally put those off until a certain date if they set a date.
Let's hope they can put it off until like middle of May.
No, apparently it won't be the Arsenal game because that's too soon.
Yeah.
So it might be the one after the Arsenal game.
Yeah.
Which is?
After Dortmund, because he doesn't apply for Champions League.
No.
Not sure.
What is our next game after Arsenal in the league?
I'm not
Good
sure.
question.
I think the home... No, it's not. It's an away game because we don't have another home game
Liverpool?
in March. It's in Liverpool?
Next game?
Southampton away.
There you go. We'll borrow Mourinho's linen basket and we'll just push it in and pull that old stunt. So maybe for Southampton away that might not be such a bad thing. Sit up in the stand with an earpiece. It's not a stadium ban, is it? It's just a touchline ban.
Touchline ban, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that was was very uncharacteristic from Poch, wasn't it? What happened to Burnley after the game? Do you think Mike Dean must have said something? Do you have any inkling of what happened?
I've seen 2 or 3 people saying what he allegedly said. Now I don't know whether that's something to be discussed on camera, whether you're allowed to or not. But if it is what it has been alleged he said, then no wonder he lost his rag, and referees should not be saying these sorts of things. I think he had something to say about the team's performance on the day, and you know he should be impartial. The team's performance is none of his business.
Yeah, because it wasn't just Pochettino. I was going crazy. It was Jesus as well on his right. He kept saying,
"Don't
say that, don't say that." So
that guy's brilliant.
Something clearly was said.
I think this could end up in a locked drawer at the bottom of a desk, along with what did John Terry say to Ledley King that time. You know, I think it might be there tucked away in the FA's Area 52, I think. One day, you have to wait for the 20 years of Freedom of Information Act.
Well, the only reason that thing didn't come out because John Terry was England captain at the time, wasn't he?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, So.
Alright, so going back to Saturday, do you think Arsenal have improved this season overall, or do you think it's kind of same old at the moment for them?
Why do we need to waste our time speaking about those lot?
I don't think it even matters, because it is literally form goes out the window in the derby. Because I've seen us when we've been a lot worse than this, back when Arsenal were absolutely flying, and we'd go and give them a game. Sometimes we'd get beat, but it would take that moment of magic from somebody like Bergkamp to do it. You know, so there is a little bit of form goes out the window. Arsenal fans will tell you the best game they've seen this season is when they played us at home. So they will pull out the stops, but we've all just got to go again.
I hope that element of nervousness doesn't come in, given our recent results. I really hope
we haven't lost a home game against Arsenal under Pochettino yet, have we?
No, we haven't.
No, and we have to look at ourselves as fans. You know, when we go on Saturday, we have to put this behind us as much as the players do. And instead of, like, if the first 5-10 minutes is a bit shaky, start, here we go again, and like everything dropping.
I don't know what's going on
with
just
have to try and. Everyone's sick of Wembley.
Yeah.
But it's not even that. Like last night, it was dead. The away end was absolutely dead last night, and you're playing Chelsea away under the lights on a Wednesday night. I just don't get it.
Yeah, he's odd. It depends what you dine at, like demographic of your away crowd. Is still, as well. Like, it should be.
There's only a certain amount of people that can get a ticket for Chelsea away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Went to like 350, 400 points or whatever it went to. Yeah. Everyone in that away end should be full of voice. Should be singing for 90 minutes.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Maybe with Saturday is sort of taking the.
But I think it's been happening all season as well. The away ends have been rubbish compared to previous seasons. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just a little bit of apathy with what's going on at Wembley, and a bit of sort of. Again, if you're bringing in new players, you're sparking,
excitement.
you're giving a bit of a spark, you know. Oh, so-and-so's like, you know, he's come in, he's like, give him a chance, and you just create that excitement. But there's not been that, hasn't been that spark, and there's not been a spark in the play. We've missed Delhi, badly missed Delhi as well, for that little bit of spark and a little bit of entertainment, and that, I think, you know, and that can kick a crowd off as well, really. So it's a two-way street. We need to be behind the team Saturday.
Yeah, but some big games like, you know, Dortmund, you know, some good atmosphere in that game, and that was a Wembley, and there was a full crowd. I think when it gets cut off at like 50,000, it creates a bit of a weird atmosphere with the whole top tier close. That's definitely true. But it could be our last game at Wembley. Is that Jerry? Have you heard that? I don't want to speak too soon.
Here we go again.
But Arsenal could be our last.
Do I dare speak about the stadium, because it was back in it was earlier last January, and I'd sort of been told that it was all well behind, and I put it on social media and got absolutely taken to task for it, and that we wouldn't be in it for this season.
It was so obvious though, wasn't it?
But then it came along, and not one apology from anybody, but
No.
like, you know, question my parentage and all sorts during when I put the tweet up. So it's I can't see it being this season. I see somebody the other day said that they've got that there was 75 safety tests that needed doing, and they ploughed through about 30 odd of them, and every one of them had failed, and they were sort of looking at where wiring was going, and it was going to absolutely nowhere in the voids of the ceiling. How much truth is in that, I don't know, because, you know, things can get a bit embellished. So I don't know. It does seem like it's still really, really behind. So I can't see it being this season. It's but it seems odd that the club seemed to know that it would be later in this season, but yet all they kept doing was giving you your money back in, like,
I hate this game by game money back bullshit. I hate it.
I mean, how much money have they had sat in the bank from every season ticket holder, every corporate as well, and they're giving it back in dribs and drabs with absolutely no interest.
And they charge a booking fee as well.
And yeah, exactly, you know. So, but they know it's not like, you know, if you go to Sainsbury's and they give you an hard time, you can say, like, well, stick it, I'm off down to Tesco's.
No,
but they know it. They know it with football clubs, and they abuse it.
My
but
ticket
it's
for
not just
Arsenal
Spurs.
was
It's
more
every club.
My ticket for Arsenal at Wembley is more expensive than the money that they gave me back. It's like, what is going on?
It's just, I don't know. Spurs seem to be very, very good at it, but all the clubs do it. If they can milk you, they will. They will have you for it. But I can't see the stadium being this season. Like all things, I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, and that we're in
I can't
now
see it either.
and start sort of building an atmosphere. I've purposely not gone to any of the events, or I think I've
haven't been in there?
No,
Yet?
I've not been in there. In fact, I've only been to Tottenham High Road about twice, I think.
Oh,
I
really?
don't even want to go until it's ready, open, and all good to go. But I mean, a lot of people have been saying it's absolutely incredible in there.
Where you sat in the new stadium?
No, I'm not season
Oh, you're not
ticket
season
holder.
holder?
No, I go piecemeal, because like, my boys play football on Sundays, and because we get so many Sunday games, so it's a bit like the ones I can make. I'll sort of get a ticket for off of Twitter or something. There's always a ticket flying about somewhere. Plus emigrating soon as well.
What about when we get in the Champions League final?
Where are you going? Spain?
yeah, off to the Canary Islands.
Wow.
Yeah,
you get to Eriksen on a weekly basis.
I'll be flying over for La Liga games. Yeah. So I'll get to see him a bit more. Maybe Pochettino in a few years as well.
Yeah,
so if we make the Champions League final, then I don't know, but probably be like one of those saddos with a signed ticket needed walking around the city centre with it.
There'll be plenty of Spurs fans in that situation.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
By hook or by crook, I'll pull one from somewhere. Someone from somewhere, I'll get one and get there. I've not missed a game yet I've wanted to go to, so
there we go.
Yeah.
All right, so should we wrap this up, I guess?
Yep.
Yeah, it's been an hour. It's flown by, really. It's been really good fun. Cheers for coming, Richard.
Thank you.
Crackers. Nice for coming on. But we'll
Thanks
see
for
you.
inviting me.
Yeah, we'll see you out in Dortmund, right, next week.
Yeah, be out
We'll
there.
fly out.
Yeah, driving out on the Tuesday morning. Drove out last time, driving out again. So a little bit of Airbnb for Tuesday night. So
In fact, if you look at our vlog from Dortmund last year, you're literally sitting right behind us.
That's right. Yeah, because my boys have watched that on YouTube, and it's
It was a good laugh.
yeah.
That was a brilliant trip last time.
Yeah,
wasn't
that was a really good
yeah.
one. Because we were already through. The pressure was off. The fans were in good voice.
In fact, there's a really funny bit in your vlog from out there, because I think it was as one of the goals goes in, somebody's nipped off to go to the loo, and they're sort of coming back to their seat, but in front of you filming, and everybody's jumping up and down, but as he walks past, he's quite aware that you're filming, and he's terribly English and doesn't want to disturb you. But he walks past and he sort of jumps up and down.
He looks like a galloping horse or something.
My boys, every time they watch that, they go, here he comes, and they're rolling about laughing, but he's just like galloping along. So when I see you next Tuesday, every time I see you get the camera up, I'm going to walk past like this. See how many times I can make it onto YouTube.
Amazing.
Just when we score, just gallop past us.
Hopefully, hope we do score. I'm galloping past a dozen times. Like. I tell you what, if we get 5 goals, I'll actually strip off and I'll go past whipping myself.
I don't know if that'd be suitable for YouTube. That'd be a different website.
You're going to be getting demonetized for that. Indecent imagery.
Bye YouTube subscribers.
Well, looking forward to seeing you out there, Crackers.
Yeah,
Maybe you get on the vlog again.
Brilliant.
If you want to plug anything, go right ahead. Your Twitter or
at Mr. Cracknell on Twitter. So still doing the Legends Night. So
your Legends Night
tomorrow night in Dartford with Terry Naylor, Nutty Naylor, Meat Hook, Martin Chivers and Cliff Jones. So there's a good mix. Doubling the weekend after with Robbo and Maxi Miller. There's a few others. Chessington in May for 2 nights with Chrissy Waddle, and then back out to Derry, London Derry, and that's with Pat Jennings, and I've not got it written down, and I'd forget my balls if they weren't in a bag. So but there's a few coming up, but if you have a look on the socials, on social media, I'm always putting the adverts and posters up for them. So
alright, so check them out there.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. So if you want to check out any of Crackers Legends Nights, we'll put a link in the description below. You can go check them out over there. Obviously follow them on Twitter as well. Thanks for coming on, Crackers. Absolutely
thank
pleasure having you on.
Good stuff.
Really
thank
good.
you. Enjoyed that.
And as always, like, subscribe and comment below. Thank you for all your questions for the podcast. We didn't get to all of them. There were so many, but we got to a couple, which was good. We've got the podcast next week.
Yeah, we do.
Who's coming on? I can't remember.
It's a surprise guest.
Surprise guest. All right. So keep in touch. Look out for that. We've got obviously Arsenal coming up this weekend. We've got our preview of Claude coming up. So check out the channel for that. Always like, subscribe, and comment below. And as always,
COYS!